One inning from the shop.
Cornetto.
Hello, I'm Jim McLean.
And I'm out and Robert.
It's staying in. Hello, I'm Jim McLean.
And I'm Adam Neeson.
And welcome to the latest episode of the NI Scene.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Not even supposed to be here today.
I'm just a fucked up girl who's looking for my own peace of mind.
Welcome to the party, pal.
I'll be back.
I'll have what she's having. I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Here's looking at you, kid.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode. It's part 2 of our Edgar Wright extravaganza. This time, we're going to be talking just generally about some of our favourite films within the director's back catalogue, from the Cornetto trilogy, Last Night in Soho, Baby Driver, and then one I'd actually forgotten about, Adam, as well, the Sparks documentary that he was involved with as well.
Yes, which I went and seen the live premiere of.
And don't forget as well, his little short stint, which was probably one of my favourite, of the Grindhouse trailers, that thankfully did not get made into a full-blown feature because
they said don't.
He said, no, please don't do it. No. Okay, but Adam, very quickly, as we go out to record, I thought since it's Friday, people are going to be hitting the cinemas. Wicked Part 2, The Search for Curly's Gold, has been out in cinemas, obviously been a huge success, mixed reviews, box office-wise, but here are some of the movies, I guess, we're kind of, Adam, in alternative programming section, apart from one movie. Are you not excited, Adam, about Zootropolis 2 heading cinemas?
Jim, let me tell you this. I'm very excited for Zootropolis 2. Not even joking. I love Zootropolis. I think it's class.
I love Zootropolis. It's the film that I went to see the night I got engaged to my lovely wife.
That's right. Yeah. In the lift.
I proposed in the lift on the way down at the Victoria Square.
I love that I've been doing this with you for so long that I know your stories.
I'm that guy in the bar. Do you know who I'm turning into? I'm turning into fucking Michael Biehn. It's like, I was in Predator 2. No, sorry. I was Aliens, you know. Could have been an Alien 3, but they fucked me over.
My head immediately went to Biehn from Batman. I could have been an alien, you know.
What a wonderful voice.
My impressions are getting better.
Yeah. You get there. Thankfully, we're not doing Elmer Fudd.
Here, let me do it right now.
Go for it. That's all on you.
No, that's all right.
But, it's mixed bag. So, I guess there's a lot of studios are kind of like, yeah, people are going to want to go see Wicked. Who's confident enough to go up against that? The House of Mouse with Zootropolis 2. Mm-hmm. I love the first one. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I'm kind of intrigued for it coming back. Hopefully we'll get more sexy Shakira.
Shakira.
Yeah, what is it? She's not a llama.
She's a gazelle.
Yeah, she's a gazelle. And, I'm looking forward to that.
I love me some Flash. He's so funny. Yeah, he's really slow because he's a sloth.
Yeah, and he's got a really fast car.
It's great.
Okay, another film, Adam, let's see that's out, is Christie, starring Sydney Sweeney. We're talking about that, I think, before we go on. We'll play a little clip of the trailer.
And you must be the lady I've been hearing so much about. Christy, how old are you?
I'm 24, sir.
You pretty. And you really a fighter?
Yes, sir. It's an honor to meet you, Mr. King.
Well, tell me about yourself. Jesse here says that you fight in all pink. That's good. I like pink.
Well, I'm from West Virginia.
What's that got to do with pink?
Nothing, sir. I'm just telling you about myself.
Yeah, pink was my idea.
West Virginia. Coal miner country.
Yes, sir. My daddy and my brother work the mines.
So what in the hell are you fighting, Christy? What's a pretty girl like you doing getting punched in the face for a living?
I'm good at it, sir.
That's a little clip of the trailer. I didn't recognise Sydney Sweeney in this. It was only you pointed this out, Adam. This is Sydney Sweeney. Would you say this is her attempt to go for an Oscar?
Yeah, or just 2 big Golden Globes at least.
But she's definitely, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about this in the news of late, where people have kind of talked about her and kind of maybe what her politics, or is this Sydney Sweeney's politics?
I don't think so. I think it's more people people want to drag beautiful women down, Jim. You know?
But Adam, she's got good genes.
She's got great bras as well. Fucking.
Did you not find that a bit like, come on, Sydney? Surely you would know what that's all about.
I don't know. It's one of those things that it's like when you see it and you see the outrage, you just go, who gives a fuck? Like, she appeals to a certain market, and the people that are offended by the quote unquote offended by the advertisements are the people that are going to get offended by any sort of thing. The actual people that like watch it and just don't even think twice about it would just be like, right, there's that fucking blonger with the big tits fucking talking about jeans, right? It's not appealing to them.
Yeah.
I think it is just sort of.
I just think in 2025, the world that we live in, ironic since, of course, we are living in 2025. And last week, of course, we talked about The Running Man, which was the book itself was set in 2025. Of course, it was like blah, 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 blah. Rambly Jim, move on, move on, move on. But I just think, if that had been done in the 90s, nothing would have been said. But I think if you were doing that in the 90s, you would now have people on those Channel 5 clip shows where they just get talking heads in to talk about, it wasn't the 90s, when they'd watch that and be like, oh, they really did that ad. It just felt like, it's like, I know what you were saying, but I was like, come on.
I think it's more of her tone deaf comments following it up. You're sort of like, is this fucking woman, is she right in the head? Like, does she play dumb, or is she just dumb?
Yeah.
Which could be both.
But hey, are you looking for this? So it's kind of a boxing movie. You know, I guess it says like, because we're not a politics we're not the rest is politics. We're not the rest is politics. Yes. Aside from that, and I know there's been talk about the film and it's kind of on the marketing campaign and stuff. And I think there's been disagreements between cast members and stuff. This is something kind of ad hoc, so I'm not going into detail on it. But are you looking forward to this?
Not really. It's one of those ones where it's like, I like the director, I like Animal Kingdom, and I like The Rover, but there's nothing here. Like, it's a biopic. I don't even know. Like, I'm not into boxing. I don't know who the biopic is about.
You're not excited about Anthony Joshua fighting Jake Paul in Miami next month?
Sorry, who? It's not on my radar. Like, Smashing Machine, Live Longer Will Calgon, came out earlier this.
I haven't seen it still.
Yeah,
And I'm
right.
kind of surprised because there was so much hype about it, but it just seemed to go nowhere.
Yeah, and it's like a movie by Benny Safdie, who I love. I fucking can't stand The Rock, but like, it was getting good hype, and it's A24, and it's just one of those ones that just came and went, and it's on digital already. It's sort of just like the Safdie brothers, who I love dearly. Is all the magic with Josh? We'll find out with Marty Supreme, which is weirdly Marty Scorsese's nickname in Castle Street. So I've and Tim O'Tay. I think there's been a lot of influence from our Tim O'Tay on that.
I'd tell you, we would maybe need to bring Marty back. You know, maybe it's just for the Christmas break.
Christmas is coming up.
Christmas is coming. The time to, he's busy. He's been busy for a wee while with the meat industry in the way that it is. But yeah, we'll bring him back. But look, I think on that note, let's move on. So that's a couple of films that are out this week you've got to look forward to. Let's move on to the main thing about this podcast, our little Edgar Wright retrospective. And I think, yeah, we'll go back to, for many, where it all began with Edgar Wright. Not where it physically began, but a bit of Shaun of the Dead. So that's a clip of Shaun of the Dead, Adam. I can see you looking angrily across the studio because I do know this is not Edgar Wright's first feature.
It's not even that, man. I just wanted to talk about space.
Yeah, but, we are a movie review show and I do want to talk about space. I just thought we could tangentially bring kind of space references in. But I think for a lot of movie peeps, Shaun of the Dead was where they were like, oh, Edgar Wright, he did that TV show, Shaun of the Dead. He did that TV show, Spaced. There's Simon Pegg, who was in that show. Nick Frost was in that show. Oh, it's actually a really good zombie movie. Mm-hmm. And you got Red in You. And it's just about a guy who just wants to go to the pub and wait for it all to go over.
What's the top 5 quotes from Shaun of the Dead that you use in your daily life? Because I know I do. I'll start off. Yeah, boy. How's that for a slice of fried gold? Go to the pub and wait for it all to blow over.
Yeah.
You've Got Red on You.
Yeah.
And
Mom.
Mum, do you know the one I always use? The second one. The one he's I always use that.
Oh, I do love Shaun of the Dead. I haven't watched it in a while. I remember Dungannon Film Club did a screening of it. It was actually the very first screening Bandaflix ever did.
Mm-hmm.
We did a screening about kind of looking at zombie movies, and we went from White Zombie to Shaun of the Dead in like 15, 20 minutes. And it was a lot of fun. We got cornetos for everybody. I went and got some LPs, and like a bit like I got the idea from Dungannon, like through that in that sequence in the film where it's like they're throwing the LPs at people. It's just a lot of fun, and you also have here goes Pete Serafinowicz. I can't say his name.
Peter Serafinowicz.
Yes. Have you ever seen is it the outtakes where they all do the kind of that and they all do it in the weird
The Beatles.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Peter on 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, where Jimmy Carr says, so what do you do with your day, Peter? And he says, well, don't think it's none of your fucking business, Jimmy. Also, he plays the brilliant character, Brian Butterfield.
Yes.
And the fantastic character in Spaced.
Yes.
Who talks like this.
Isn't he like the boyfriend?
Yeah, he's the ex-boyfriend.
He's the ex-boyfriend because...
No, he's the new boyfriend.
Boyfriend of Sean's ex-girlfriend. Yes. Not Sean's. Simon Pegg's character. His name has been out of my Simon. It's been out of my head, and and then they break up.
Yes, because he gets shot in the bollocks in season 1 from paintballs, and in season 2 they break up, and it's the episode where they get into a gunfight in the alleyway with the thugs.
Yeah, that's I think they go to the West End show, don't they?
Well, they're trying to
go to the West End show. I love. I mean, just on that. I mean, I just love Spaced.
Well, he's taking the piss, and he's going, "I'm Coco for Cocoa Puffs," and he's like, "Remember it? Remember our dads?"
I just love Nick Frost in Spaced.
Yes,
and also love Brian.
He got thrown out of the Ramblers for putting too many stones in his backpack.
It's just, and then like in the last episode, he steals the tank, and there's just like in that episode, there's episode of the zombie episode. I think I said in the previous pod where I was like, that's the first episode of Spaced I remember seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until like when I was at uni, my friend Gary, R.I.P. God, Gary and I would have watched Spaced just at nauseum. It was just we had the 2 box sets, watched them repeat, and just be like, oh, I fucking love this show. It's just so clever. And then it's like it's one of those classic shows where you become smug, where it's like the first season is good, but in the the second season is genius. And the second season has got all the references. Like, oh, well, you need to have seen the first season to really got that reference. And I was that for a while. I was that person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, you wouldn't understand.
You don't understand who Tyres is.
And it's just like the episode with I think it's the first series. Bill Bailey's character pops up as the artist, or as the kind of the comic book shop owner.
It is,
and it's kind of all the talk about Jar Jar Binks. I think the Jar Jar Binks stuff is in the second season.
Yeah, okay, it carries on.
Yeah, and there's like the kind of like plastic. Because what I loved about it was like the movie references. Mm-hmm. It's like in the paintballing episode where from out of nowhere they have the reference to the end of Terminator when it's just
there's a storm coming.
It's just like, oh, just genius. And it's made by people. I always say this about Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright is a type of director, if I had the talent at him,
mm-hmm.
the gusto and the enthusiasm and the time, I would like to think, I don't think I would, I'd like to think I would make a movie like Edgar Wright.
Mm-hmm.
He makes movies that's like, oh, fuck, yeah, that's the kind of film. As much as I go, oh, I love Marty Scorsese, I love to do Goodfellas stuff, I would love to do, I think Scott Pilgrim vs. the World was the one for me. It's like, yeah, it's the point in Scott Pilgrim where it's got like the Seinfeld music for no real reason, or like the little power-up sounds, and you're like going, yeah, it's probably the film the nerd in me would make. And he makes all that stuff look really easy when it is really actually really hard and complex, but you see so much of that in Spaced, and you see that he's a product of what he's been influenced by. And I don't have a problem with that because as I said in the TV show a couple of weeks ago, you usually see him with what he's been influenced by, but he's using it for a reason or he's putting his spin on it. It's not just like, well, here's a movie reference. Here's a movie reference. Albeit in space, there is times where it's just like, here's a movie.
Yeah.
Here's a movie reference.
I think in space, it's the references, the straight up references work because you believe that's what the characters would do. The characters are so pop cultured, inspired, and live in that world so much that you believe that's what they would, say or do. Like they never have the character of Brian come in and do a movie reference. Like he's never doing Terminator references.
No,
because that his character would never do that. But whenever it's a Simon Pegg and Nick Frost pure episode where they're doing stuff, those episodes are more heavily focused. Whereas, like, you have an episode where they're off doing something and Daisy is doing a recreation of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Can I just say, like, I mean, Jessica Hines.
Yeah.
As much as we talk about space being Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, and Nick Frost, she's such an important part of that as well.
She's like the second main writer. It's Simon Pegg and her.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said with Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg brings a lot of character. Jessica Hines brings a lot of character. I think a lot of the side characters, like Brian, like Twist, stuff like that.
Twist and Brian are going out for a while.
Yeah.
And then Brian can't do his painting because he's happy.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Brian, I see you're painting your father again. It's a penis. Stuff like that is great. The episode where Brian is really worried about his art installation and then the pot of paint falls on his head and people just think that's the installation. Great stuff.
I need to rewatch Space.
It's so good.
I just have that attack. Anytime. Do what it is. I'm worried about putting it on because my lovely wife has never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the few things. Spaced 24.
Mm-hmm.
Alien, I love Alien, but she's like, no, I don't mind it. She just goes, just a monster in a suit. Like, fuck up. But I think if my lovely wife didn't like Space, it would be like, oh, hang on.
I showed Heidi some of Space early in our relationship, and she was like, don't get it. Which I think also could be an age thing, because, like, I know there's only 5 years between me and Heidi, and also my fucking autistic brain of collecting pop culture works more over time than hers does, where it's like when they play the Blind Date theme tune in Spaced, it makes me laugh, whereas Heidi's like, what's that? So it doesn't really work on that level.
I just love it. Isn't it the start of the second season when Daisy's been away backpacking and she's kind of talking because she's a writer.
Mm-hmm.
She's a writer and she writes for magazines, and it just when I think about it, it always just makes me smile. I always come back to the clubbing episode, and you've got tires and you've got all those kind of things that are just, it's the tires. Michael Smiley's character, when it's just like he's clearly on acid or something, and it's like he's sitting, they're in the room, kettle goes, and it suddenly becomes like a music video. No, just genius.
I love when he goes, here, you owe me a tenner. And he goes, there you go. And he goes, Tark, can you lend me 20 quid? He gives him 20 quid. He goes, cheers.
But I suppose, we're being a bit rambly here. Fistful of Fingers, have you ever seen it?
I have, and I think Edgar Wright is also one of those people that's sort of like, you just ignore that. It's not really his first film. It's sort of an attempt, in the same way that Quentin Tarantino had an attempt at a first film and then sort of just went, nah. And then Reservoir Dogs is obviously the fully formed project.
Yeah.
But I have seen it just to be the completionist. And it's
okay.
You can see the seeds of what he was to become later in some of the scenes. Obviously, a lot of the influences, like A Fistful of Dollars, obviously in the spaghetti westerns, but it's just a lack of budget and a lack of maybe people around him that weren't he didn't have a partner like Simon Pegg to sort of bounce off. Because even Edgar Wright directed a TV show for Comedy Central called Asylum, and that's sort of where he met Jessica and Simon Pegg. And I remember watching that on Comedy Central back in the day and sort of Do you know when you sort of be like, fuck, this is different. This has a wee bit of a different look than all the other shows that's on these channels. So there's definitely I've brought it up several times over the last couple of podcasts. He needs somebody like a Simon Pegg to sort of elevate his projects.
I think it's a bit like the Chris Nolan with Jonathan Nolan.
I think so, yeah. I think so. It's one of those ones where it's just like they're good separately, but together it's just fried gold, baby.
Aren't they They are talking about a fourth installment in the Cornetto trilogy. I kind of don't want them to do it.
I think I don't think it's going to be part of the Cornetto trilogy, but
I think they want to work together.
Yeah, the three of them are all like, yeah, sure. It's like whatever Simon Pegg and Nick Frost went off and did Paul.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, well, you've lost the magic of Edgar Wright. Like you can see, you feel the elephant in the room of like, surely Edgar Wright should have did this. It's not a good movie.
I don't like Paul.
No, sure.
Even when Sigourney Weaver shows up.
Do you know who's good in Paul? Bill Hader.
Yeah, but then Bill Hader's usually good in most things. He's just sometimes in shit movies.
Yeah, well, man's got to eat.
Yeah, you got to pay your bills. Got to pay the mortgage sometimes. So yeah, fistful of fingers. I know, like the likes of the Prince Charles Cinema shows it quite regularly. Edgar Wright is a massive fan of the Prince Charles Cinema. I remember I went to see The Colour Out of Space at the London Film Festival, and he was sitting maybe 4 or 5 rows behind me, and seemed to have a very positive time enjoying the film. And it's just a shame certain things emerged afterwards with the director. Again, we talk about Baby Driver, problematic issues, but
the Colour Out of Space director was acquitted of all that. So
yes, he was acquitted, but yes, there was.
So spoke about fire big stuff.
But yeah, I guess it was that time. But yeah, I remember watching that film, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. Nick Cage, and yeah, it was there. But I remember him being in the cinema. It was at the Prince Charles. A lot of fun. So yeah, I've watched it once. I've never felt the need to go back and rewatch it. And I think I kind of like just seeing little clips of it. Mm-hmm. You go, oh yeah, as you see, you can see the style of it. So then we've mentioned Spaced. Few episodes, 2 series. There's not many episodes of Spaced. I think is there maybe 6?
Is it
12?
6 in the first and 7 in the second?
Yeah,
is that what it is?
There's not a lot of episodes there, which I think I like. It's kind of like the Faulty Towers things.
Yeah,
leave people wanting more. Then we kind of got a movie. He's kind of jumping around in a few projects here. As we've mentioned and alluded to, he kind of pops up as a director of a few music videos. Mm-hmm. We've already mentioned, I think, was it in this episode or was it on the previous episode, when we were talking about the genesis of the idea for
Baby Driver
mm-hmm. sequence. And that's, if I'm correct, let me get it in front of me.
The Royal Mint video?
Royal Mint video, yes. And I know he directed Charles Hatherley's Bastardo, mm-hmm. as we mentioned, with the lovely David Williams and the host there. And then we kind of get into where, I guess, is the Edgar Wright stuff that we know. Shaun of the Dead, mm-hmm. Which I know we've kind of talked about. It works because it's not a parody. It mm-hmm. does riff, like, we're not saying the Z word. Mm-hmm. We're not saying the Z word. And it does, like, it takes the piss out of zombie movies. Mm-hmm. But it's also fundamentally a love letter to George Romero mm-hmm. and zombie movies, which is why they end up, isn't it The Land of the Dead? They get a
image, yeah.
They're in the background somewhere.
It's Shaun and Ed.
Yeah, as zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of go, yeah, it works because it's a good zombie movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you had that period for a while. There was those kind of like British horror movies, because you mentioned we were talking about ideas for next year's festival. Like you've got the likes of Severance. Mm-hmm. Stuff, not the TV show.
Not a good TV show.
Not
the alright movie.
Not the Danny Dyer. There was a few around that point. There was the one with Michael Fassbender. Is it Eden Lake? I know that's more of a nastier. I think this is maybe slightly jumping forward.
Yeah, because then like after the success of Shaun of the Dead, you had like lesbian vampire killers,
which is shit.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Which is pretty shit. Although I've heard a lot of people, I think, on TikTok trying to go, oh, it needs to be reevaluated. It's like,
it doesn't at all.
It doesn't at all. It's not very fun. But yeah, so we have here, so I'm looking at here, we have Shaun of the Dead, as we mentioned, and then we get the inevitable follow-up, Hot Fuzz, mm-hmm. which I do remember specifically going on a date in a town that no longer exists with a girl I was going out with in Limerick. Mm-hmm. We went down to cinema there and just adoring that film. Mm-hmm. And then being that person who then walked around the place like for months afterwards, just referencing the film.
I went and seen it in a similar situation once.
Yarp.
Once seen it with my dad on my birthday.
It's just, I come back to that point. It's like what they do as a trio, what they do really well is like they know how to go in and riff. Like, have you seen Bad Boys 2? All that stuff. But at its heart, it is kind of a nuts and bolt. It's like when you see like Steven Soderbergh. Steven Soderbergh knows what he's doing within genre movies. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And like I know the likes we were talking about, I think various while ago. I think I was talking to Soho. I can't remember if it was on. I can't remember where I was talking about Presence. And I can't remember if it was on this podcast or on the TV show. It was like, oh, there's someone trying to do something a little bit different. I don't think it works completely. You know, you've got Lucy Liu in there, but I think, oh, it's interesting. You can see someone who knows what he's doing within genre. Edgar Wright is someone like that. When he goes in to do, I think you lose a bit of that by the time you get to The World's End. I think.
Oh, well, we'll see in a second. We're still talking about it.
The World's End, but I think in the sense that it's still, yeah, I know that it's a riff on kind of the sci-fi genre.
It's a vision about his Spencer's.
Yes, but I don't think it's as clear cut as I think there's really good ideas, and I think it comes back to what you were saying with the ending. Other than the fact that it's Bill Nye, and he's like, "Fuck it."
Yeah, shut up, you giant lamp. Well,
Do you know-
we'll
do you
get
know
to that. We'll get to the word
Right.
in a second.
Hot
Fuzz.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz. It was just a film. It was one of those times I remember, when you're looking forward to a film, and it doesn't just meet your expectations, but just surpasses it. And I know it was at that time. It was like everyone loves Shaun of the Dead, so you get a lot of cameos. You get Peter Jackson as the homicidal Santa. Kate Blanchett, is she there?
Coogan
Coogan is in. Oh, I love that sequence. Where
has a hand, bit stiff.
I just love that sequence when he's getting, isn't it? Martin Freeman. Just Martin Freeman, Steve Coogan. Who is it? Bill Nye.
Bill Nye.
Bill Nye.
Shall we take this upstairs?
Yeah. It's just fun. I just love DCI Nicholas Hoult.
Hag, 3 down. Just a way of like, you've got a mustache. I know. Another here quotes from Hot Fuzz I use every day. Murder, murder, murder.
The great or good.
The great or good.
Yarp.
Yarp. Yeah, Roy.
You've even got the likes of Olivia Colman and there, Paddy Constantine's in
Paddy
there as well.
Constantine, Rafe Spall, Kevin Eldon,
Yeah.
Jim Broadbent, who's fantastic in it. Oh, that's the one I always get. Whenever he says Black Forest Ghetto, Chunky Monkey for a month, Dad. Great. Nobody tells me nothing. Fantastic Paul Bailey.
Oh yeah, and they're the twins.
Yeah.
Sorry if that's a spoiler, but it's just a well-crafted, well-executed film. And it's just like,
By the power of Grayskull.
the thing about it is, right, so it's when we get to The World's End. Do you know the thing that was the bug for me? I'm not saying, I know I'm pretty anal about oh my God. I know I'm pretty anal about like things like, oh, Kevin Conroy has to be the voice of Batman. If it's not an animated Batman and it's not Kevin Conroy, R.I.P., legend, it's like, not interested. I wanted in The World's End the line, do you want anything from the shop? Cornetto. Instead of what they do, it's like a Cornetto wrapper up on like the metal fence. It's like, I no longer yearned for the delights of, and it's like, no, I want the line because it's in Shaun of the Dead, it's in Hot Fuzz. You have to have that line, and I guess there's that sense of like, I guess they're gonna like, we're gonna bring it in, but we're gonna try and be clever with it. But no,
Yeah.
I wanted joining from the shop.
Although, like, it is one of those ones that sort of expectations are put aside to those sort of running jokes because you get the third fence falling joke, and it doesn't really work in World's End. It's just sort of he falls. But World's End to me is my favorite of the 3.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I think it's so fucking funny. It's so well written.
I love Gary King. I love Simon Pegg's Gary King, and that sense of like that someone who hasn't moved on. I'm probably there's a large part of me is very much Gary King.
Yeah, and his story is like quietly tragic, and the fact that it's sort of based on Simon Pegg's alcoholism, and it's just to have him be the main character and to be just a bastard, and you're sort of going along with it, but you can understand why Nick Frost is pissed off at him, why Martin Freeman's pissed off at him. But like, everybody sort of has that friend that's sort of like, you're like,
or if you don't, you are that.
You are that friend. It's like, fuck, you never left school, did you, man? Like, you're just like that.
It's like when you always talk about Seinfeld, if you don't know who's the George Costanza in your group, you're the George Costanza.
Would you say that we're both the Georges in our group?
I'd like to think I'm a Kramer, but I know I'm probably... I think I'm more...
Elaine.
I think I'm more Elaine than I think, just when you see me dancing on the dance floor. But yes.
But favourite quotes from World's End. Keep the light on, for we will indeed be blind. Duran. We'll always have the disables. Hello, bienvenue. Welcome. Martin Freeman's face when he comes out of the toilets from beating up the fucking first robot. He's like, that's a weird face. And then whenever the fighting the twins and she has the legs for arms, and Rosamund Pike's like fighting it, Simon Pegg goes, "Rip a fucking head off!" Makes me laugh every time.
Because you kind of forget, it's you've got you kind of, there's the elements of kind of tragedy. You've got Gary King, and then you've got Eddie Marsan's character who was bullied.
Yeah. And then Martin Freeman was the old man, because he had a 6 scar on in his head.
Yeah.
Paddy Constantine yearned for Rosamund Pike. Michael Smiley is Dr. Green, and he goes, "You have to say the secret password." And he goes, "I want to buy some drugs." Great stuff.
It is. I don't know why. I think, coming back to what we were talking about the last podcast.
Sorry, when they're walking down the street together to the doors, "Show me the way to go home." Incredible.
But
I'm trying to convince you.
Here's the thing, right? I think the World's End gives me hope for the Running Man. Because the World's End was the one I watched, and I was you talk about expectations. Like, when to see Shaun of the Dead, it's like, I had expectation, because these are the guys from space. It's like, okay, fab. And they're like, okay, Jessica Hines is not there. Oh, she is there, but she's like the cool group that is clearly a success and will have no problem surviving the zombie apocalypse. Hot Fuzz, and then you go, you have higher expectations. And then you're like, oh, wow, these have been met. It's like you've got a former Bond as the baddie, and you've just got a really kind of, as I say, nuts and bolts action movie. You've got an action sequence that finishes in a miniature town. It's just lovely.
Off at the Bottle Village.
And then you get to the World's End, and I think just expectation levels were like, every time I went to see that, it's like, you've surpassed. And I was like, this is just fine. I enjoy it more when I rewatch it, but I don't love it. And maybe, but I've grown to like it more, and maybe over time I'll have the same effect with the Running Man. But you clearly like it a lot more than me. Like,
yeah, it's one of those ones. And like, when I first seen it in the cinema, I enjoyed it, but the ending was sort of just like, is that it? Whereas towards like now, it's sort of is a nice wee ending to what people have dubbed as a trilogy. It's set itself in its own wee world where like, the world's ended and Gary's carried on and he's become the best sort of person he can. Like,
he is Gary King.
Yeah, he is the king. And it's just a fucking, to me, the World's End is sort of like their peak of both comedy and taking a movie genre and making it something more than you ever think it would be, because it's like, Shaun of the Dead is a very fun comedy, but you're like, incredible zombie film. Hot Fuzz, very fun comedy, but incredible action film. And then World's End is like very fun comedy, but also slightly drama and paranoia thriller, sort of. If you like Invasion of the Body Snatchers and like Soylent Green, you're gonna really enjoy it.
I say I do like it I do like it more with every viewing. I just haven't watched it in a while. Now, we've kind of jumped because we went through the Cornetto trilogy. Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Mm-hmm.
I adore this film, but it's on the Banterflix We Will Never Screen list because I love it too much. It's that level of cult status around it, and it's Edgar Wright I come back to that point I made earlier in this episode. Making a kind of movie as someone who didn't read the comic going in, didn't know very much about it other than the fact that it had Michael Cera, who I kind of liked from Arrested Development, Mary Elizabeth Winstead,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't remember if I was excited about Chris Evans or anything like that.
Like Kieran Culkin.
But I love Kieran Culkin's character in that because it was like one of those first times you go, oh, this character's just gay. There's no fuss about that. There's no big thing about it. And like he's just gay. And I know that sounds really stupid said out loud verbally, but there's no hullabaloo about it.
It's
and
an army class for having a gay character. It's like
but you don't get that, and it's the sense is like they share an apartment, they share a bed together, and there's no kind of like, oh no, like there's one sequence I think they wake up and Michael Cera, Scott's in bed, and he's in bed with Kieran Culkin and his boyfriend. Do you think the more I watch Scott Pilgrim, I will accept? You made the point in the previous episode about endings. Mm-hmm. Once it becomes boss battle after boss battle, it loses a bit itself, but I love the style of the boss battles. Mm-hmm. It's like the Battle of the Bands sequence. We have everyone's favorite Captain Marvel is in there as well with that song. Is it Black Sheep?
Yeah, Black Sheep. Yeah,
and we've got the ultimate vegan power with everyone's favorite Superman.
Yeah, everyone's favorite.
Audrey Plaza's in there, and I just love the fact that when she swears, it's just little things about it without being kind of like movie nerd. It's the style of it, the fun of it. That it's like a project he's been allowed to make the movie he wants to make, and we always talk about that. Sometimes it's a double-edged sword because sometimes you can go too far and you can make something that's like, oh, that's you've just been indulged. But I think it just gets it right. But I do think the more I watch it, the more I kind of go, oh, yeah, it kind of loses itself near the end. Mm-hmm. And there's I guess if you're being that kind of there's problematic issues in the sense like the relationship with Scott and his, I was going to say knives, but not knives.
It is knives.
Oh, it's knives. Yeah, I was thinking, is it knives? But I love her in this film. I love her in this film, just the kind of her character's progression as well. And so she goes from being a Scott Pilgrim fangirl to just like she's fully formed by the end of it. And and Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Oh, mama. It's a comic book series, graphic novel series that I loved before the movie. And
so you liked it before the movie,
and the first 4 volumes that came out before the movie had first 4, yeah. So going into the movie, it was like to the page, to the beat, to the joke, a carbon copy of what was on the page.
So even like with the Seinfeld references,
yes,
and stuff. Okay,
yes, and like the music was the same, even though it's like written, but like Brian Lee O'Malley, the author, had written the music and stuff. Okay. And to me, it was like, you haven't put enough of yourself, Edgar Wright, into this to sort of claim it as your own movie. It's like so to the joke of the books that there's nothing really new for me.
But do you not think, other than the fact that he then changed the ending, do you think then it's the idea of like comic book, when you if he's damned if he do, but he's damned if he didn't?
I don't think so, because there was so many people that were like, oh fuck, this comic book is like an Edgar Wright movie.
Yeah.
So people were like, oh, it's about to be in heaven, and it's sort of like he probably thought that, I'm damned if I change this, but it's like you could have really changed a lot of this, if you wanted to make it more yours. But like I say, with Michael Bacall being the co-writer on this, he also wrote 21 Jump Street, and it's like he's a writer that works. When you watch it the first time, you're like, fuck, that is really good. And then the second time, you could sort of see like the mechanics of how the script works, like the structure of how it works, and you sort of like lose. Like I say, with Running Man, it's over, what's the word? It's over rehearsed. Some of the jokes. Now some of the jokes are still funny in it to me, like the whole him diving through the window when knives comes. It's just really funny visual stuff. But a lot of it, like Chris Evans, I fucking can't stand in it.
Chris Evans in that film.
I can't fucking stand him in it. And just a lot of it, it's just sort of the twins with the battle. You sort of lose a lot of their story. You lose a lot of Ramona's story. She sort of just becomes like just this. Like, you're like, why does Scott even like this woman?
Yeah, she does become kind of like the manic pixie dream girl. I think she's up there and kind of like references when you look at that.
Which, in a way, she is meant to be, but you sort of feel sorry for Mary Elizabeth Winstead. You're sort of like, we haven't given really anything to do apart from you change your hair color every fucking 10 minutes. But hot.
Yeah. And Alison Pill's there. She's there because it's like 7 evil boyfriends. Exes.
Yeah.
A little bi-furious.
But Alison Pill is the drummer. It's
sorry.
Mia Whitman.
Mia Whitman. Sorry, apologies, got that wrong.
But both hot.
Yes, I love it, but I don't know why I've put it on the banned list of films that we can never screen, because I think it's like once you screen that, it's a sense of once you screen it, I don't think you can do it again. Then I'm the person. Rocky Horror was on that list twice. Because it's like, people come. So next year, 2026, Belfast International Horror Festival, Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
we just showed Don't on a loop for 2 hours.
Yeah, I do love it, but I accept that it's flawed. But I just love, maybe it's because I came to that on the back of the Cornetto trilogy. I didn't come to that with the baggage of, I know the source material. So when I was that age, I was probably still like Mr. 2000 AD. Judge Dredd, Rogue Trooper, ABC Warriors, Slaying, maybe a bit of Germ Red as well. That was kind of, and probably Batman and Spider-Man. I wasn't kind of like, I think it's because maybe I've had seen the comics, because I know originally they were black and white.
Yeah.
And I was like, I never like black and white comics. I never do. It's like when you picked up old episodes of 2000 AD or classic Judge Dredd, it's like, it's in black and white. That's a bit shit.
It's funny because whenever they did the reprints of Scott Pilgrim in color, I was like, no, fuck about that.
And the opposite. That's why opposites attract that. But I think that's why, and maybe it's because it's interesting you say all those things that I think are Edgar Wright-isms are like, they're actually there in the source material. So yeah, it's a film I do love. I watch it from time to time just because I just love Michael Cera. I love Michael Cera, and I know we talked about in the last, he's the best thing in The Running Man when his character kind of pops up. He's got this tragic backstory. He's got a mum that was lovely but has turned slightly racist and Nazi, racist and nasty and horrible, and he's just, I love him in The Running Man, and he's not in it long enough for, I think I would have loved that film more. But I just love it's the vulnerability of Scott, but yet it's a bit like Joel in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. You take a step back, you watch it a few times, you go, he's not a nice. There's parts of Scott that I don't like, and you kind of go, you can see the problems with knives. Yeah, and as you older, but when you watch the first time, it's like, oh yeah, it's okay, I get that.
Yeah, it's sort of like, it's same in the comic book too, and he does get called out for it at one point. It's sort of just like, you are a loser.
Yeah. And
I think the movie doesn't really point that out directly, apart from the fact that he's played by Michael Cera.
Yeah.
He's not played by Chris Evans.
Yeah. But I still disagree. I love Chris Evans in this film. Because I love it when Chris Evans, I want Chris Evans to be more the bad guy.
I had this conversation with someone earlier. It's like he was doing a lot of comedy roles, and then all of a sudden he became Captain America and started doing a lot of smell of fart acting.
But he's good at doing smell of fart acting. I do love him in Knives Out.
So yeah,
I do love him in Knives Out. He looks good in a sweater. And I like, is it Gifted? The one he did. I like him in that. I want him to be a bad guy. Maybe I'll get my wish with one of the Avengers movies. We don't know.
Oh, it's going to be Captain Hydra.
I'll be there kind of going like, I would like that. But anyway, that's me. So yeah, so Scott Pilgrim versus the World, I think I love it. I accept it's flawed. I accept it's baggy by the end. and kind of loses itself a little bit. But I still love it. You're not as enthused about it, but you still like it.
I could take it or leave it.
Okay. So then we move on. So we then do the laws. So we've got Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which was not a box office success. It was a bit of a flop. It was a flop. Then we come back to The World's End. Then we're looking at here as we go through this podcast. We look through his IMDb back catalogue. Pharrell Williams, Gust of Wind. I don't remember that. That stunning feature, but I don't remember the music video.
It's where Pharrell does a fart in a...
in the forest. And then we get to Baby Driver. As we say, Baby Driver 2017. You look at it now, there is kind of Ansel Elgort. I can never say his name. Kevin Spacey. Arnie Hammer's not in it. No.
Jimmy Fox.
But you do have, I guess, now, because there's been talk for a while about a sequel. I don't know if that's...
Yeah, they sort of want to do a sequel with John Barenthal.
Yeah. Which you can kind of see, but you're like, yeah, it's like... Yeah, I do love Baby Driver. And it's that time you kind of say, it's just a director just being full of confidence. And again, coming back to like Scott Pilgrim, just being able to make the film that he wants to make. And there's no... Edgar Wright is he's like a good, needle drop director. He knows how to drop a good tune, with fast editing styles and this, that, and other. He knows how to throw references in. It's weirdly, I was talking about Kevin Spacey with my friend Barry, who's in Lithgow. We're talking about, it's like, oh, yeah, what do you want to watch? It's like, we could never screen like The Usual Suspects. Or you would just be like, oh, you wouldn't want to screen those films because people would be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I don't mean that in the sense, but people have every right to go blah, 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 blah. And I know version things are quitted and things like that, but there's problems there. And Ansel Elgort, I don't know enough off the top of my head. I know that was a problem for West Side Story, which he's perfectly good in. It's just that there's stuff, and I know he was kept deliberately out of the promo and the press tour for that film, other than I think one or two select interviews
by himself.
Yes, interviews. But yeah, it's a film I really like, and it's that kind of sense. Like it's another one of those like, oh, I want to buy the soundtrack. Want to buy the soundtrack for that film. Sit down and listen to it. I haven't watched, again, with Edgar Wright movies, I haven't watched them in a while. I need to go back and binge them because they always make me smile. But what's your thoughts on Baby Driver?
Baby Driver to me is, again, like Running Man, technically impressive.
Even with Flea in it?
Yeah, Flea from Obi-Wan Kenobi film. But it's, to me, Edgar Wright is an amazing British film director. And when he does these movies, be it Scott Pilgrim, be it Baby Driver or Running Man, it feels like an American doing a bad impression.
Okay.
But in the terms of filmmaking, like he's doing an impression of a big American heist movie where I feel...
Even with the Mike Myers joke?
I don't find that funny. Like...
Do you find it offensive to Mike Myers?
Yeah. I find it's like, do you know when they tell the behind the scenes story? It was like, oh, it was an accident. Like, so, like somebody was actually meant to, my thing was like, how is it an accident? Like, stuff like that. I fucking hate like that. We improv that. You're like, no, you didn't. The things have to go through so many checks and fucking thing that where you're like, oh, fucking somebody got an Austin Powers mask. He didn't. It was in the script. It's called a joke that you wrote.
Because I know funny, he was talking about with the Running Man. I know we talked about this briefly from an early stage. So we're like, yeah, let's do Arnie as on the notes as a little reference. It avoids getting like, oh, let's have him as a cameo here or as a hunter or anything like that. And they were like, I think it was at a certain point, I think it was the producer was like, do you know you just can't do it? You need to go and get like his permission to get it done. And they were like, oh yeah. So I don't know, maybe it was, but yeah, I do like Baby Driver. I love like I love the dynamic, and I love like there's like characters just being allowed, or actors just being allowed to kind of chew the scenery in their own way. And even Kevin Spacey, for all the things that I know will not go into, you go, if you can separate art from the artist, the performer from the performance, Kevin Spacey's a good actor,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just the now baggage that you have there.
Mhm.
And I do like him in Baby Driver. I like him in a lot of films. I
Mhm.
just don't like, things he has done in
Mhm.
real life. But yeah, I guess that's the problem of art and the artiste.
Well, yeah. And to me, again, Wright has a problem ending the movie. It's sort of the middle act becomes a lot of Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
And then the last act is John Hamm, which I think the actual end battle with the Brighton Rock song, I think is really well done, and it's a really intense scene. But then the sort of like love story between him and Lily James,
Yeah.
I feel it's like sort of undercooked, and there's sort of stuff to do with like Baby and his mum, and he lives with like this guy who like looks after him and
I
stuff.
like because his song Deborah.
Yeah, Deborah, and it's sort of just
That is cute, that bit, though.
it doesn't. I don't know. It's, to me, it's like I say, it's him doing an impression of an American heist movie, and it just, all of his movies that aren't English just come off as insincere.
Which then brings us nicely, because we're not talking about The Running Man. We talked about it in the previous show. We then have him coming back.
Mhm.
I guess we should mention, you've mentioned the Sparks Brothers documentary, which I know you've seen.
Yes.
I thought I've seen it. I haven't watched again. I seen it when it was. I don't think I watched it in the cinema. I think I watched it shortly after it was dropped on either just on VOD or possibly on one of the streaming platforms. Watched it. Didn't really know much. In theory, you go, oh, I don't know that much about them. It's like, oh wow, it's like they have a really impressive back catalogue. And yeah, I was like, oh, wouldn't mind Edgar Wright doing more documentaries. I think is that kind of that pop culture inspired director that is. I think it does lend itself to that style in the same way you could get like Ron Howard is he's a brilliant filmmaker. Yes, he's done some turkeys, but he also is a fantastic documentary filmmaker as well.
The Jim Henson documentary from this year is great. The Sparks documentary, very good. A lot of people complain about it because they feel like it's just a lot of celebrities being like, yeah, that album. And that's a lot of it. But it does tell the whole story of Sparks. And the two brothers are great. And I went and seen Sparks live in Aylster Hall. Incredible show. So they're definitely a band that it's a worthy reason to have a documentary about this band, because they're not fantastically known, but you definitely know one of their songs.
Yeah,
do you know?
Definitely do.
Yeah,
you definitely do. But it's well worth a watch. And as I say, I would like to see him do more documentaries. Which brings us then, you mentioned you don't like it when he's off doing stuff in America. He then comes back to Last Night in Soho. So it's kind of returning, I guess, to the horror genre, kind of the Argento-esque inspired
Giallo.
Argento kind of Giallo, all that look and style. There's definitely like nods to like sort of Don't Look Now in there as well. I haven't watched it. I have watched it a couple of times because I've seen it since it. I watched it in the cinema. My lovely wife actually loved it, and we did go back and rewatch it when it was out. But it's like you've got Thomasin McKenzie. We have not Lily James. It's
Anya Taylor-Joy.
That was Matt Smith. We also have I think it's her last screen performance on the cinema anyway, maybe taken away from Game of Thrones, Dan Rigg.
And also the last screen performance of Malcolm McDowell.
Terence Stamp. Neil before Zod. So what's your thoughts on, where do you weigh in on Last Night in Soho?
I think it's definitely a better movie than his Baby Driver and Scott Pilgrim, because it's a lot more personal. It's telling a much more close-knit story. Mackenzie Thomas is incredible in it. And Anya Taylor-Joy is really good in it. They have that really impressive showy scene in the club with her dancing with Matt Smith. Has a bit of towards the end of the second act into the third, sort of, there's a misleading plot with Terence Stamp that sort of goes nowhere.
Oh, it's the scene in the bar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because she takes the job in the bar.
Yeah. It doesn't really go anywhere, and you feel like you've like wasted a bit of time because it sort of just goes, and they're like, time for the third act, big action sequency bit.
That person you didn't think was the bad guy, they might be that person that was lurking around all the time.
The one that said, "I'm the villain," wasn't the villain at all. But I think it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely shows Edgar's maturity as a filmmaker. He does what he's always done, where he's referencing back to a style of film and putting his stamp
Like
on
when
it.
you go back to the London in the 60s and the big poster for Goldfinger.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And there's lots of great practical tricks in it to sort of get away with like double actors and stuff like that. It's definitely an improvement over his other work, like I said, with Baby Driver and Scott Pilgrim, but it's not a movie I go back to and revisit. It's not even a movie where it's like, oh, it's Halloween, I'll watch a scary film and I'll watch Last Night in Soho. I sort of watched it in the cinema and went, yeah, that was good, and then haven't really thought about it since.
I've watched it a couple of times. I must say I enjoy it. I do like it. I have a soft spot for it.
It's one of those ones that like I don't hate, and if anybody was like, should I watch this? I'm like, yeah, sure. It's interesting enough.
I think in that sense, when you look at it, you're like, again, it comes back to the point you can see, coming back full circle where we're talking about Spaced, although we did start talking about Shaun of the Dead, although we technically did start talking about Zootropolis too, but kind of going full circle-esque. It's like going back to Spaced, where you can see all the products that have influenced him as a filmmaker, but he does enough with them to kind of go, okay, you're not just kind of, it's not just that reference or that. I know I'm repeating myself, but I love, again, it's maybe a case of like the style over substance. And I know you could probably hit Edgar Wright with that stick. On a few of his films, I'll go back to Scott Pilgrim. There's a lot of style there. Maybe there's issues with some of the substance, some of the, like, for me anyway, the latter entry, the World's End. But yeah, I don't know what it is. It's maybe just because we just love Cilla Black here in this podcast.
And that is true.
Maybe that's why, R.I.P.
It does have fine Cilla in it. It is just one of those things where it's like he is referencing giallo movies, which classically don't ever really have great third acts.
No.
So it's sort of an uphill battle to begin with.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good movie, and it's got really strong performances in it. It's just, like I say, between the second and third act, it sort of wavers and never really picks itself back up again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, that I know we're talking for nearly an hour. I know we said at the outset, we were talking the previous pod last week, we were saying, like, we'll maybe get around to talking about the Ant-Man. It is a shame we never got to see Edgar Wright within the MCU. I know they still use a lot of the script. Just very, very briefly, because we are going to wrap up, I would love to have seen that project. And I know you talked about in the previous pod where you said it's like maybe just at that time, Marvel and Disney just didn't want to give directors as much free rein. They had their style, their structure, and clearly he was trying to do something different, and maybe just was too early within the MCU. Maybe it was in a later entry. You might have had something maybe a bit different, a bit more confident, but we don't know. As I said, with The Running Man, I would love to see him. I would love to see Edgar Wright directing something where there's much more of a structure.
Yeah, I think if you watch Ant-Man now, you can definitely see how it could be an Edgar Wright movie, and the 1 10-minute sequence in it that clearly was the breaking point for Wright to go, no, it's okay, is the bit where the Falcon turns up for no particular reason. I think it's sort of studio mandate, be like, you need to tie it into the Avengers.
Yeah.
And he just went, what the fuck for? And they just rubbed the wrong way on that, especially because they were working on that for so long. For them to be like, look, this is going to be a hit. This is going to be a big movie for you. For the Avengers in 2012 to take off as big as it did, $2 billion or whatever, and for Marvel to go, well, clearly you need to reference the Avengers in these movies, and him say, well, no, I've been working on this for so long, you can't just change your mind now because something has worked, or this could work standalone. And I just went, well, sorry, it's just the way it is.
You would like to think they would come at it different. And I think the kind of envision, I know you talked about in the previous pod, the vision probably would suit well. I mean, maybe love to see him do a Fantastic Four.
Definitely. I think with the Fantastic Four that we have got, you could see Edgar Wright easily with that 60s style.
Yeah.
Playing with that, playing with the music, playing with those sort of actors. You would have got something interesting. Like I say, working under James Gunn maybe could create something interesting in the DC universe.
We're going to have to wait and see.
Would he be a good choice for Batman?
Well, I think, is it not Muschietti?
It's Andy Muschietti, but he was announced fucking pre...
The Brave and the Bold, isn't that the version of Batman they're going for?
Which they're changing about so much. James Gunn said, like, it's not the same project that we announced fucking 5 years ago. Like, it's a completely different thing. But that's Andy Muschietti taking a bullet for the Flash. Like, he fucking jumped in front of that film, and I went, well, we're going to owe you one eye, aren't we?
Yeah. Oh, well, let's not bring up the Flash. Let's not go down that Peyton thing. And hey, Peyton Reed did a all right job. The first Ant-Man, the other two are what they are.
Second one is fine. The third one is
Just a shambles.
but again,
CGI arse.
I feel like that is the studio being like, right, Peyton, we need Kang, and he went, huh?
Is we arse cheeks though.
Yeah.
But yeah, not for me. So yeah, I think that brings our little retrospective to it. It's been rambly, it's been silly. But yeah, I do like looking back. For you, I know very quickly as we wrap things up, Adam, I guess I'm gonna preempt. I know maybe the one you're gonna say, but what would be the Edgar Wright movie in the back catalogue? You would say someone who's listened to this, I don't know why they would listen to this and never watched an Edgar Wright movie, or if they have been listening and they haven't watched any of them for a while, what would the one you go say? Go back.
World's End. If you've never seen an Edgar Wright movie, start with Shaun of the Dead. I think it's the perfect sort of encapsulation. If in your life you've never watched the channel ITV2 and have never seen Shaun of the Dead before, start there. If you're going back, if you're come out of the Running Man and a bit disappointed, go back and watch World's End, because I think it has a lot more heavy contained jokes in it. Like cards like robbing Peter to pay Paul. I was like, no, I rob Paul to pay you. Gary King on the Need for Speed machine because he needs drugs. A lot deeper than you think than just it's whereas the first one is like zombies, second one's police action films, the third one is a little bit more muddled. But if you're not categorizing in this is the robot one, if you're categorizing in this is the one where they talk about friendship and having problems in your 30s and 40s, it hits you more on that level.
You've definitely tempted me to go back and give it a viewing. I haven't watched it for quite some time. I've realised actually as we were recording this, just because we decided, after last week, I just didn't have a chance to go back and rewatch stuff because just busy doing the TV show, had to go see Wicked, etc. But you're like, I haven't watched them in a while. And the movie I'm going to say, just because what I've been talking about, is like, I actually do want to rewatch. I want to rewatch Last Night in Soho, just because I love the style of it. I love the soundtrack. I love the central performances. And I also love Matt Smith as well in it. Matt Smith is just like, because we saw him, what's the one he was in?
Caught Stealing,
where he's the punk rocker with that hair. And we'll not talk about, his various exploits in Morpheus.
Well,
but he got a paycheck for it. That's all we can
God
say.
bless him.
God bless him. Someone had to pick up the paycheck. Why not him? But yeah, I'm going to say Last Night in Soho. But I think, Adam, you've tempted me to go back and watch The World's End.
Last Night in Soho has more Cilla Black than World's End. I will give you that.
Yeah. If you're craving a bit of Cilla Black, if you're missing Adam's surprise references, look back to previous pods, I think, that's the one you're going to be going for. So yes, So that brings this episode to an end. As always, is the point where I sell our wares. So if you've enjoyed the pod, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasting fix. You can find old episodes of our NVTV show on both our YouTube page, on the older non-sexy 4K, and the newer 4K versions on NVTV Belfast page. And Adam, of course, Outer Rim Ramblin'.
Outer Rim Ramblin', me and Danny Brown every Monday talking about Star Wars with people from the Star Wars movies, TV shows, influencers, and just people in the community. It's a positive outlook Star Wars podcast because there's too much negativity on the internet. Find it on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, Outer Rim Ramblin' pod on Instagram, TikTok, X, and people. Send me your hearts.
Listeners, I just want to say the look of pure concentration on Adam's Neeson's face there. Just like, people.
I'm also holding it a fart.
MySpace as well. MySpace, MSN Messenger. It's available on that. So yes, that's enough of us. We'll be back next week with another episode. But for now, until then, goodbye.